And I am proud to say that the value added by these companies accounts for nearly 25% of Iceland's GDP, 30% of exports revenue, and 20% of all jobs in Iceland. As a small island in the North Atlantic, we value our exports and imports greatly and are focused on keeping the flow of goods constant while practicing good business. For example, the Federation was highly supportive of the EEA agreement, which Iceland entered in 1995 to further promote free external trade. This agreement is a prime example of the benefit that small countries get from trading across international borders. Since Iceland entered the agreement just over 25 years ago, the GDP per person has increased by 71%, while the exports of goods and services has tripled. The economic growth and increased prosperity in Iceland has been a direct reflection of the increased foreign trade in this aforementioned time period. International competitiveness sets a nation's standard of living. Despite being a small economy, Iceland has done quite well in this regard. It's a growing modern economy, and its people enjoy high living standards relative to other countries. The nation is comparatively young and educated and willing to adopt new technologies, and the labor market is highly flexible. Iceland's spectacular natural surroundings are the source of both inspiration and renewable green energy. I believe that now is the time for India and Iceland to take full advantage of their mutual business and investment opportunities. Exports to India totaled only $100 million from the year 2013 till 2018, which is a very small amount when all exports are taken into consideration, for example, to Europe. Out of those 100 million, about 13 million were goods like ferrosilicon and medicine, while 85 million were comprised of services, mainly for tourism. On the other hand, Iceland imported approximately $300 million from India in the same period. The goods were quite different, as they were mainly from biochemical market, as well as various manufactured goods such as clothing and textile fiber yarn. While the services imported were mostly technical consulting and likewise tourism. According to the magazine The Economist, India is poised to become the world's third largest economy by 2030. Presumably, this will be accompanied by the migration of millions of people from rural communities to cities. Icelandic industries has much to offer India as it meets the demands of the future. For example, Iceland is at the forefront in the field of renewable energy, which will be of pivotal importance in the fight against global warming, especially to include development of electric transportation in urban areas. Moreover, Icelandic companies are pioneers in food processing technology, which help reduce food waste, and our health tech industry is booming. I am certain that the opportunities for Indian companies in Iceland are abundant as well. In the end, it all comes down to the most common economic rationale for increased trade, looking for areas where we have a comparative advantage. We must actively seek out those fields of comparative advantage in order to realize our full potential. It is my sincere hope that we will look for and find ways to strengthen our relationship and facilitate more trade and contact between our two countries. I believe there are ample business opportunities for both of us. Thank you.
I think this is going to be a problem. Thank you, Gudrun. I wonder if there's some technical staff who can help us move the microphones because they're sort of in the way. I'll have to find a solution to this within the next few minutes. But anyway, thank you, Gudrun. I think you're right. We can greatly increase trade between the countries. And our next speaker might have something to do with that. He is Mr. Balkrishan Goenka, President of ASSOCHAM, the Associated Chambers of Business and Industry of India. ASSOCHAM comprises 300 chambers and trade associations across the country. Our organization founded almost 100 years ago in 1920. And it has 4 lakh members. It's a word I just learned, lakh. It means 100,000. So 400,000 member companies. My own organization, the Icelandic Federation of Trade, has 0.002 lakh members. Mr. Goenka is also the chairman of Wellspun Group, a global corporate with over 26,000 employees in more than 50 countries. And as such, he has played a significant role in shaping up the trade, commerce, and industrial environment of India. Mr. Goenka, the floor is yours.
His Excellency Mr. Gunni Thorleifs Jónsson, Honorable President of Iceland, His Excellency Sri Ramnath Kovind ji, Honorable President of India, Srimati Debashree Chaudhary ji, Honorable Union Minister of State for Women and Child Development, Government of India, Dr. Ramapati Ram Tripathi ji, Honorable Member of Parliament, Shri Basant Kumar Panda ji, Honorable Member of Parliament, Shri Armstrong Changsan, Honorable Ambassador of India to Iceland, senior officials from Ministry of External Affairs and the Indian embassies, representative of India and Icelandic business community, friends from media, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning and Godan Dain. And in Hindi we call Namaste. On behalf of Indian industry, I welcome you all to this Iceland-India Business Forum. It is an honor for me to address the gathering in this august presence of the Honorable Presidents of Iceland and India. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Excellencies for their presence this morning, and this is very important Iceland-India Business Forum. I would like to express my sincere regards to the people of this beautiful country for their warm welcome and gracious hospitality. I am deeply touched by this gesture of the friends from the Iceland. Excellencies, I have the honor to lead a strong business delegation from India, accompanying the Honorable President of India to participate in the Iceland-India Business Forum and other bilateral business engagement here. I'm joined today by Indian businesses from diverse sectors representing textile, infrastructure, steel, food processing, financial services, aviation management, engineering, to name a few of them. The strength of our delegation reflects the interest and the significance accorded to the Iceland-India bilateral relationship. This visit of Honorable President of India is of political and business significance to our bilateral relations. India and Iceland shares a long-standing and historic friendship. Our common vision of peace, prosperity, and development of our people has brought us vast and diverse aspirational market, high purchasing power parity, consistent growth, vast resources, and abundant, highly skilled human capital. The Indian government is reform-oriented and business-friendly. This has resulted in India moving up many notches in World Bank Ease of Doing Business Index recently. Our government has streamlined the processes for setting up businesses in the country. In fact, our Prime Minister, Shri Modi ji, has outlined a vision beyond ease of doing business. He has outlined the ease of living as a government philosophy to meet the aspiration of every Indian. Our cooperation with Iceland in the area of social development would help tremendously with this vision. Business ties between our two countries are getting stronger. There are many significant bilateral collaboration. This includes the double taxation avoidance agreement, bilateral treaty on promotions as well as promotion of investment, air services agreement are the few of them. There is a growing emphasis on addressing challenges due to the climate changes. Toward this, India has taken the lead in taking necessary steps to mitigate these challenges. India and Iceland can work together to address these challenges further. The two countries have become signatories to International Partnership for Hydrogen Economy recently. As my friend said earlier, bilateral trade is not that big, but it's growing. In the last 3 years, we have grown from 14 million to 40 million, and there's a huge potential. And I think with this visit, we can really feel that vibration, and in the times to come, these numbers can be very, very different. So this is very, very encouraging, and we have a very high potential for a higher growth. There are many success stories of Icelandic companies doing business in India and vice versa. Some companies which have established a strong presence in India includes Osor, which is dealing in artificial limbs, LS Retails, business management software, Maral, a food processing, Actavis Pharmaceutical, software company called Ronus, Workis are few of them. And same way, some of Indian companies have established a strong relation which can be further increase the growth and the potential in times to come. These are TCS, which is dealing in software, Garvares, Bird Group, Autometrics, Holiday and more, and ideas to impact innovation. Given this scenario, both the countries are poised to take full advantage of their business and investment opportunities for mutual growth and development. The presence of our two honorable presidents today is a privilege and honor, and it imparts the new dynamism and confidence to build on this bilateral cooperation. The business potential between Iceland and India is tremendous and growing strongly. It is with the enthusiasm that we are participating at the Iceland-India Business Forum. India business are keen to build bilateral trade and trade manifold in times to come. We are privileged to have the support of our respective government, and we are really grateful to you. I take this opportunity on behalf of the Indian delegation put together by India's Apex Business Chamber, ASSOCHAM, CI, and IMC to express sincere gratitude to the dignitaries present here. I would also like to place on record our sincere thank to the Indian ambassador to Iceland, Sri Armstrong Chengsen, and his team at the Indian Embassy, as also the Icelandic ambassador, Mr. Goodman Dur Stephenson, and his team at the Embassy in New Delhi for their valuable support and encouragement to enhance business and trade relations between India and Iceland. I would like to thank our host, the wonderful people of Iceland, the Icelandic Business Association, the Federation of Icelandic Industries, and the Icelandic Federation of Trade. With these, I would like to conclude my remark. I wish to express my hope and best wishes to the businesses and the organization for taking our mutual trade relation forward. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Mr. Goenka. I think you're absolutely right that the sectors you mentioned contain enormous potential. And we are lucky enough to have people from most of these sectors from both countries in the room today. So make sure afterwards you meet each other and talk. It is now my honor to introduce the President of Iceland, Mr. Guðni Jóhannesson, a former professor of history who became an expert in the history of the office of the President of Iceland before then running for that office and winning the presidential election in 2016, becoming the 6th President of the Republic. He is an extremely popular president who manages to personally shake hands and pose for selfies with an enormous number of Icelanders each year. It's probably not a model to be copied in India. In my experience, he is also very skillful when it comes to introducing business leaders from Iceland and other countries and engaging them in a conversation about how we can increase trade and cooperation to the benefit of all. Welcome to the podium, Mr. President.
Your Excellency, President Ramnath Kovind, Guðrún Hafsteinsdóttir, Chair of the Federation of Icelandic Industries, Mr. Malkrishnan Gwenga, President ASSOCHAM and Chairman of the Wellspan Group, dear Moderator, Ólafur Stephensen, Secretary General of the Icelandic Federation of Trade, other distinguished guests, dear friends, it's a pleasure and honor to be here with you. Yesterday, my wife Eliza and I had the honor of welcoming His Excellency the President and the First Lady and their daughter and their whole team. Such was the warmth of their presence at Bessastaðir, the warm feelings that I welcomed them to India. The warmth generated was such. And I thank His Excellency for indeed the warmth he has brought from his home country, from India. Let's talk business, it is sometimes said. This forum is a venue for just that. At this forum, representatives of the Icelandic and the Indian business communities will be able to detail the links that already exist between our two states and seek new avenues as well. Dear friends, I wish you the best of luck in your valuable efforts. Here in Iceland, we know the essence of trade, the essence of connections between our island and the outside world. Indeed, it has been argued, and Ólafur Stephensen mentioned the fact that I am a historian by profession, so a tiny piece of history here. It has been argued that the lack of merchants in this country, the lack of vessels to sail with goods, was among the main reasons why Iceland came under foreign rule centuries ago. During this state visit to Iceland by His Excellency the President of India, we have already touched on the fact that while the oceans divide us, they unite us as well. During this forum, we will be able to explore new sailing routes, as it were. Let us look at our green economy, the opportunities which the utilization of hydropower and geothermal energy can offer. And let us look at advances in sustainable fisheries. Let us look at collaboration in healthcare, in biotechnology, information technology, finance, construction, aviation, tourism, agriculture, export, import, and so on and so forth. The options are endless. At least let us not be narrow-minded. Let us embrace the new realities of the 21st century, the new realities of the emergent fourth industrial revolution and globalization in the positive sense of that term. So, dear President, dear guests, during our state dinner last night, in honor of our distinguished guests from India, I recounted the tale of the first Icelander we know of who traveled to India, Jón Ólafsson, born in the late 16th century. His journey was so remarkable that afterwards, and to this day, we simply know him as Jón the India traveler. This vast land he visited was so different, so exotic to this poor farmer's son from a remote island in the North Atlantic. But he could sense its riches. This was a land of, as he said, great pearls, gems, marvelous fruits and spices, and other splendid and magnificent goods. India remains a land of magnificent goods, also a land of major challenges, yes, but then again, also a land with a multitude of opportunities. Let us grasp those opportunities. Let us work together for the benefit of us all, for a sustainable future. Thus, to conclude, I dare to venture the hope that we might add to the tales of India travelers in this country, that we will soon have more people known by that feat. Let's have Guðrún, the India traveler, or Arnar, the India traveler, and so on. And that in India, some people will become well-known Iceland travelers as well. A first step, a positive step, will be the signing of a memorandum of understanding between our two business communities, between our two business chambers. I am honored to be present. I thank you all, wish you all the best of luck in strengthening the ties between Iceland and India, in fostering increased trade and commerce between our two countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. After the President of one of the world's smallest democracies, it's time to hear from the head of state of the most populous one. It's my great honor to introduce His Excellency the Honorable Ramnath Kovind, President of India. He's a lawyer, a veteran political representative, and an ardent, long-time champion of equitability in society and integrity in Indian public life. Before assuming office of the 14th President of India 2 years ago, Mr. Kovind served as the governor of the state of Bihar and was earlier a representative in the upper house of India's parliament. And we are quite honored that Iceland is the first Nordic country the President visits. So, Mr. President, the floor is yours.
Your Excellency, President Jóhannesson, Captains of Industry from Iceland and India, ladies and gentlemen, Godan Dain, good morning and namaskar. Let me begin by remembering the victims of the 9/11 terror attack in the US. On the occasion, let us once again resolve not to allow these inhuman forces to destroy our peace and harmony. I am pleased to address the India-Iceland Business Forum. I thank President Jóhannesson for his august presence here. Our joint participation is an indication of our commitment to deepen India-Iceland economic ties. I thank the India-Iceland Business Association, the Icelandic Federation of Trade, the Icelandic India Trade Council, Promote Iceland, the Associated Chambers of Commerce and Industry of India, and the Confederation of Indian Industry, who have come together to organize this forum. We have over 30 companies from India here and many more from Iceland. I am happy about the excellent turnout. Yesterday, I had wide-ranging discussions with President Jóhannesson. We agreed to take forward and broaden our bilateral ties, in particular trade and investment relations. When we think of India and Iceland, an imagination of distance immediately comes to mind. But think of new age technology, climate smart solutions, and blue economy, and you will realize how close Iceland and India are. India's growth and commitment to sustainability and Iceland's business strengths make for a natural partnership. Iceland's capacity in the fields of geothermal energy, circular economy, financial services, fisheries, food processing, shipping, tourism, and innovation are second to none. It is a pioneer in green technologies, be it carbon capture, energy efficient buildings, or waste to wealth projects. Its economic success is a story that many would like to emulate. India's transformative growth programs such as Digital India, Smart Cities, Clean India, and Next Generation Infrastructure projects present immense opportunities for Icelandic companies. The case for deeper economic interaction between Iceland and India could not be more compelling. Ladies and gentlemen, as with Iceland, Indian economic landscape is also an inspiring one. India is the sixth largest economy in the world today. We have set a target to reach the $5 trillion economy mark by 2025. We are not only the fastest growing major economy, but have also become a leading engine of global growth. We are committed to further reforming our economy and making it even more conducive for business. In the last 5 years, our sustained efforts in this regard have led to a spectacular jump of 65 places for India on the World Bank Ease of Doing Business Index. We have also moved 44 ranks on the Logistics Performance Index. Our seminal reform, the introduction of goods and services tax, has made India into a single tax market for the first time in its history. As a result of our policies, we have attracted an impressive 44.3 billion US dollars as FDI in the financial year 2018 and 19. India is growing fast and transforming itself faster. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said earlier, India's growth and Iceland's niche capacities complement each other. There is a scope to enhance economic partnership in several areas, from trade, investments, services to research and innovation. Our bilateral trade figures are modest, but Indian market and Iceland's business strengths can add significant numbers to them. Iceland can look at sourcing manufactured goods, fruits and vegetables, textiles, chemicals and engineering goods from India. Indian pharma industry has much to offer. Every fifth tablet, capsule and injection in generic drugs in the world is manufactured in India. Iceland has made advances in genomics, genetics and biotechnology. It also possesses key technologies in the medical devices field. There is a lot that can happen between India and Iceland in the pharma, healthcare and biotech space. Finance, hospitality and tourism services also present significant opportunities. Food industry is another potential area of collaboration. India is the second largest food producer in the world. We require technology and investment support to process our food and modern logistics chain to market it. We are also keen to learn from Iceland's sustainable management of fish stock and innovative fishery products, from fish skin leather to cosmetics. We are looking at Iceland as an important partner as we work to double our farm income by 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, India's growth is creating immense opportunities in the infrastructure, startup and digital sectors. Smart cities, green buildings, airports, expressways, high-speed railways and ports are fast changing the landscape of India. Our Digital India program is running at speed. Over 1 billion people have been provided with digital identity. broadband connectivity is reaching every village and every hamlet. With the cheapest data price in the world, public services from banking to municipal documentation are being delivered through the digital highway. India is a world leader in IT services and Iceland a preferred destination for hosting data centers. There are opportunities for the two sides to collaborate in the digital space and in next generation infrastructure projects. Ladies and gentlemen, Iceland is known for renewable energy, geothermal and hydroelectricity. There is a scope for collaboration in this sector as well. India has set itself a target of installing 175 gigawatts capacity of renewable energy by the year 2022 and meeting 40% of its total energy needs from renewable energy by the year 2030. In our ever-growing commitment to renewable energy, India would also be turning towards utilization of geothermal energy in the coming future. Wind energy is yet another area of cooperation. India ranks 4th in the world in terms of wind energy generation. We also have a dynamic domestic industry manufacturing wind turbines. Our companies are ready to engage with Iceland to harness wind energy. Ladies and gentlemen, we have talked of the present. Let us also elaborate on the future. Iceland's technological prowess and India's scientific skills could embrace each other to drive the fourth industrial revolution and the machine intelligence age. Our startups working on robotics, ecology and marine litter can be the potential anchors of our future engagement in Iceland, India or in any other part of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I have highlighted some of the areas where our economic cooperation holds potential. You will know more of them as you sit across the table and talk to each other as potential business partners and as friends. And as you do so, you must share stories of the beauty of Icelandic glaciers and the magic of Bollywood. Businesses fructify and flourish when they happen over warmth and friendship. I wish all of you a fulfilling day of business engagement. Tak fyrir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President Kovind. I agree that the case for increased trade and cooperation between the countries is indeed compelling. And significantly, it's now time for an exchange of memoranda of understanding between 6 Indian and Icelandic business organizations. These documents are about cooperation, the strengthening of ties, exchange of information and mutual assistance, signifying the intent